Welcome back to the Rundown Podcast. My name is Abe Hicks, joined by my main man, Dylan Kearns. We are back better than ever. This is going to be a fun show for you guys. We're talking all things All-Star. The All-Star game is next week. We're excited about it. We're pumped about it. There's so much going on besides the All-Star game. We're going to get all into that. It's a great time of the year to take a break from whatever's going on, whether it's the Yankees losing, the Cubs struggling. Get a break and get to that midsummer classic that is, in my opinion, the best All-Star game in all the sports. But we're ready to get into it. But beforehand, Dylan, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm excited to get to the All-Star break. You know, it's always a grind the baseball season. You get the Monday, you get the Thursday as travel days, usually one of them a week. But you look at the MLB schedule, it's just a gauntlet, man. Like, these players are playing every single day, battling nicky-knack injuries every single day. And it's to the point where, you know, you just gotta get to that break. And some of these players, it's well deserved, it's well needed, and seeing them finally get there is a good thing. And it's good for us too, because then we get a different perspective on it. We get to see these stars play, some future players shine, some home run derby, the whole 9 yards. It's a great weekend. Love that they added the draft during this time as well. So a lot to look forward to here coming up next week.
No doubt, no doubt. But before we get into it, we want to highlight our sponsor for today's show, Spiders Batting Gloves. Great people over there. They've sent us some gloves. We really like and enjoy them. If you're a baseball player, softball player, a grown man playing in a softball league, go check out some Spiders gloves. They got any equipment you need, whether it's batting gloves, elbow guards, wrist guards, you name it, they got it. Go check them out and use our code RUNDOWN15 to get 15% off.
Yes, sir. It's a great company. They got good gloves, man. Every time they're razzle dazzle gloves. That's what I like to call them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look like you're wearing bubble gum on your wrists. It's awesome.
There we go. All right. So to kick off the All-Star week, we're going to talk futures game. Futures game, I believe it's on Sunday before the draft, which we'll get into. Who is that guy that you have your eyes on in this year's futures game?
I'm going to give you one catcher and one shortstop. He's kind of been a little off the radar recently. Marcelo Meyer's still a great ball player. And I think he has the makeup. You got to remember, this kid was drafted at 18 years old. I got to see him play in Charleston when Portland came through, his AA team. And just a great kid, head on his shoulders. He's going to get a chance to shine. I think he could run away with Futures Game MVP here. This is a kid that's got all the tools. His power still needs some work, I'd say. But other than that, I mean, he can hit the ball. He runs well. He plays great defense. That's the shortstop of the future in Boston. I know it's kind of been a questionable position right now. You look at someone like Cedinne Rafaela, who's moving between shortstop and center field. Marcelo Meyer is going to be that shortstop of the future there in Boston. He's someone I think takes the reins at that position maybe next year, if not the year after that. You got to remember, still a very young kid. He has struggled at times in the minor leagues. He had a rough year last year, but he's bouncing back this year. He's had a great rookie year as well. So a lot of potential there for Marcelo Meyer, and I think it's someone that's still under the radar after being drafted so high and such a highly touted kid out of high school. And one more name to talk about. He's a catcher/DH. He's in the Cubs system. He's probably going to be in the show come August. Moises Ballesteros. That kid he rakes. I mean, absolutely rakes. Left-handed, short, 5'3", stocky catcher. And he just drives the baseball, hits it hard to all fields. He got called up to AAA just about a month ago, and he's raking at that level as well. With the Cubs catching struggles, he could find his way to the roster ASAP, and he's one of those kids that I think he could hit a couple bombs in this futures game, and I would not be surprised. So that's definitely one kid to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, those are some solid names you have there, especially Marcelo Meyer. It's like we tend to forget about him just because the Red Sox haven't been in the limelight that big of a deal lately. So, but no, those are really solid picks. For me, I got Drew Jones. He's struggled with injuries early in his career so far, but this year he's put up some solid numbers in single A, batting .266, 5 home runs with 9 stolen bases. But I think this is a prime opportunity to showcase his speed and versatility in the outfield that was passed down by his father, Andrew Jones, who's one of the best outfielders we've ever seen. And so I think this could be an amazing opportunity to see what Drew Jones has against top tier talent. You don't see that too often. I don't think he's faced that yet since being a pro. And so having that opportunity to showcase he has, I think this can go a long way for Drew Jones.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential. I don't know. I get
It's
too
potential. It's potential. That's all it is.
potential. I mean,
We
we've
haven't
seen
seen
Vernon
it.
Davis win an All-Star game MVP
Taylor Trammell,
2019, and these kids don't ever amount to anything. But
right?
I mean, it's still a great honor, still something to keep your eye on. But yeah, I mean, it's a game where you can showcase your potential, and hopefully it comes to mount. That's one thing I've realized with prospects, man. Like some of these organizations like to hug them, and some of them like to trade for them and really believe in them. But at the end of the day, man, it's kids that haven't played at the big league level. So it all changes when you get there. Look at Pete Crow Armstrong. He's struggling a bit right now. He has flash. You can see the potential there, but sometimes I'm just saying, sometimes it can be overlooked and overhyped.
I mean, even like Jackson Holiday, who we've highlighted on this show, Wyatt Langford had a slow start to the year. And this past few weeks, he's been on fire, just named AL Rookie of the Week. And so you just never know with prospects. But at the end of the day, you got to see what they have. And the futures game is a great place to see what these guys have against top tier talent. Moving on to the next day on Sunday, the MLB draft. I feel like this doesn't get enough attention, which can be a conversation within itself. I always get excited for the draft. There's some key guys coming out of here, coming into the draft that I think can amount to a lot of success in the big leagues. I mean, this is the day where big league clubs look to find that next superstar. And this is a great opportunity for those clubs. Dylan, who in this year's MLB draft do you have your eyes on?
I got my eye on a nice lefty.
Uh-oh.
Nice lefty starter. You know where I'm going. I'm going with Hagen Smith, man. Hagen Smith out of Arkansas. That kid can absolutely shove. He's a big lefty. And that's one thing that I've realized. Let's dive into this for a second. You look at left-handed pitchers across baseball. They've really started to come back this year. But there was a small stretch. Once Bumgarner left, it's just the Kershaws, and then it's a question mark. But now you're seeing the other ones of the world. You're seeing Justin Steele. You're seeing Shota Imanaga. You're seeing Jordan Montgomery. I know he struggled. Blake Snell. Like these guys are starting to shove these lefties. And I think this is another one that's just a young kid that's ready to come in and make an impact on a big league club. I think that he possesses a lot of skill there. I mean, you look at his ratings according to MLB.com. I mean, his fastball grade, slider grade, 65 and 65. Like he can bring it. There's a fastball slider. I think he has potential in the rotation. I think with those two like great pitch mixes that he can possess there as well, he could be a great back end bullpen Josh Hader type. So I think there's a ton of potential with a Hagen Smith if you take him early in the draft.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see Hagen Smith, to see what he can do in professional baseball. For my pick here, this will probably be a big surprise to you, Dylan. Jack Caglione, Florida Gator, probably the most intriguing player in this draft because of his two-way ability. He showed he can dominate on the mound, but I think, in my opinion, he is an extraordinary hitter at the plate. He doesn't just hit for light tower power that we've seen, but he's also a very good hitter all around. He batted .419 this past year and has gotten better every single year in college. I think his bat is more impactful for a major league club. He should have been in the running for the Golden Spikes Award by dominating in college baseball. 33 home runs, 90 RBIs, facing the best pitching in college baseball, being in the SEC. With his tool set, he should be the number one overall pick. I look at the Cincinnati Reds with the number 2 pick here. You want a lefty bat that can take advantage of that hitter's ballpark? You want to stop dreaming about Joey Votto playing first base there? Jack Caglione might be there at 2 for you. And do not miss on that if you're the Cincinnati Reds.
You going to be scared about Florida in the first round again? Too soon, Jonathan India? Ooh.
No, because Caglione is, in my opinion, a way better prospect than Jonathan India. Jonathan India didn't show this type of power that Caglione is way more versatile, way better hitter all around than what India was.
I'll say this about Caglione. I dove into him. I saw some of his tape. He reminds me. I know you mentioned Votto, but I see a lot of Jay Bruce in him. I see a lot of Jay Bruce. He can play. I think he could play the outfield a bit too. He plays first base mainly there. But okay? I want to get your take on him. They got also listed as a left-handed pitcher. That's what I'm saying. Do you see him as a pitcher potentially, or do you think that they will just buy in on the hitting? Because they didn't let Hunter Green do both.
Yeah, I think his tool set all around is better as a hitter. I really think it is. I mean, he can get up to he can get up to high 90s, but control could be an issue for him. I saw him quite a bit at Florida. Accuracy and control can be an issue for him. Now you can fine tune that in the minor leagues. You can't teach throwing that hard, right? You can't teach that. But I think his abilities and skills at the plate are some of the best, if not the best in this draft, for sure. I see him as if I'm a big league club, I want him coming up to the plate 4 times a game and making a change and making a difference. So
I like that.
I like Cags. I love Cags. Saw him play a lot. Really like what he can do. But yeah, I have a question for you. What do you think of? Do you like the draft being moved to the All-Star break?
I do. I think the draft moving to the All-Star break is the best thing that can happen to it, because one thing that's unanimously true about Major League Baseball is they got people that don't know how to market the sport. They leave it for people like us to just talk about the sport and hope we get clicks and hope that revenue is brought, like the takes that we have and the information that we dive into and bring you is what markets the sport, when really it should be the people at the top. So I think moving it to that weekend has been a benefit for the sport. Plus, you got to think, I know like the front offices, they like the draft in a different time of year, but you look at it during the All-Star break, what that can do is that then allows the GMs, they're not worried about their club right then. It's still 2-3 weeks away from the trade deadline. You know where your club is about that time before you get to the All-Star break. So you can really take the weekend to say, okay, this is who I like. And you can really take the time and sit down with your scouts and actually assess the whole draft during a time where baseball games aren't being played. You're not watching the All-Star game. You got a little break on your job to where you can then assess the talent pool that's available and go ahead and make those draft choices. So I love it being this weekend.
Yeah, I've heard some people with mixed feelings about it. Mainly mention, hey, once these guys get drafted, they don't have time to go play hop in minor league ball, you know? And I mean, well, if I'm a club, I'm like, okay, that, especially if you're a pitcher, if you draft the pitcher, I don't want to waste innings on this guy this year. You know, let him get some rest, let him rest his arm and come back next year and see what he can do. So I understand and I see both sides of it. You know, like you said, I like that it brings attention to guys coming into the league. I wish they could do more, though. I wish they would do more to highlight the draft and highlight these guys coming in. I know it's hard because you don't know if these guys are going to make it, but I would like to see MLB try and do a little bit more here.
You can make the case. I think you can make the case there. But asking the MLB to do more, I don't know what more you want to do, because you look at it in 2 different ways. The NBA draft's marketable because the first-round players you're going to see in the league. The NFL's marketable because those players, even the 4th-rounders, you're going to see on Sundays. The NHL doesn't market. They can't get anybody to watch their draft because they're players playing from the QMJHEIEIO league, hockey league, something HL. And they're kids that are like 16 years old that are being drafted. And then you got college kids drafted, and that no one watching college hockey.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Baseball.
Yeah.
No one watching high school baseball. Like, it's such a big pool of players that you can take that at the end of the day, that's the hard thing. And they're not going to be there for at least a year or two. Like, you can say Shanuel and Skeens were some of the only outliers in the past decade that have really made an impact. You can also throw Finnegan in there, the Reds pitcher, or the Royals starter that got traded for Cueto. But, I mean, there have been really no one else since then. So I don't think that you can really market a sport with players that you just know you won't see for many years.
I think it's a lot like basketball. Forget the NFL in this situation, but even this past year's draft of the NBA, I didn't watch. I didn't know who hardly any of those guys. I knew who they were, but just a casual fan who checks in and out of the NBA, they didn't really know who those guys were. I think it's more of, hey, who are these guys coming out of college? Do you get connected with them in college? And I think that's how it was with Paul Skeens last year. It was such a big deal because he's Paul Skeens. He's dating a superstar. He's pitching like a superstar, and all accumulated at once. And now he's the number one pick. Boom! Now look at him. He's riding that wave. He's been one of the best rookies so far this year. So I think it all depends on the name that's coming out. And I think, like I mentioned, Cax could be that guy because we saw a lot of them at Florida. Hagen Smith, we'll see. But I think at the end of the day, it depends on the names, and MLB needs to do more to uplift those names, if that makes sense.
I want to do one more take here to your point about if organizations have drafting at this time of year and how it affects player development. I think when you look at it as a whole, it's still your choice. If you want to shut that pitcher down, you can shut him down. Yeah. You don't have to pitch him the rest of the year. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, I saw a kid. So I covered his draft party last year. Cole Emerson, first round of the Mariners. He left. He literally, I was at his draft party. A week later, he was in Arizona. He's training there, playing rookie ball. Next thing you know, he's playing competitive baseball late in the year, and he shined. He hit over 300 home runs, stolen bases, the whole 9 yards, and he won a championship with Single-A Modesto Nuts. After just being in Ohio in July, he ends up winning a championship in August, September with the Modesto Nuts. So I think it gets them that experience right away to go out there and play. And I think that could definitely benefit their career too, because it's not like you're forcing at-bats or you're forcing playing time on them. These organizations know how much they played in high school, college. So if they get a break, they can use it. If they think it helps their development, they have the option there to go ahead and play.
True. No doubt. That's good there. All right, moving on to the next day, Monday, probably the most fun all-star event out of any of the all-star games throughout pro sports, the Home Run Derby. Got a good list here of guys who will be participating. Off the top of my head, I got Jose Ramirez, Marcell Ozuna, Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson, Alec Boehm. Who else? Pete Alonso. We got a good list here.
And recently announced Adolis Garcia.
Adolis Garcia. So I think we got a pretty decent list here. Who do you got winning?
I think it's going to be unanimous. Unanimous winner right now. And it's hard to say with Pete Alonso in there to say unanimous. Wow. But I'm not going Pete Alonso. I think Adolis Garcia in his home ballpark, that guy, you saw his stroke down the stretch last year where it was just all compact, just all together swing. It looked like a rubber band was being pulled back and released when he would just shoot them balls out of the ballpark. I think this guy's going to get freaking hot, and he's going to crack them. And he's going to be sitting there. He's going to have his hat backwards. He's going to be cracking them out of the ballpark, bald head flying. Ballpark's going to be lit. It's his home ballpark. I think he is going to put on an absolute show, and he's going to steal this derby from everybody.
That is a very solid pick, and I considered going with him, but I also figured that you were going to pick the hometown guy. Looking at this list here, Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson, it's hard to trust any of the young guys in this type of event because they get so amped up, and then by the 30th swing, they're tired and they have nothing left. Give me Marcell Ozuna here. Marcell Ozuna, second in the league, or second NL in home runs, and he has a career high in exit velo. I really like that. I really like Ozuna's swing pattern. I think that will play really well at Globe Life Field. What do you think about that?
He's been hitting them this year. I'll tell you that. I'm not a big fan. Has he participated?
I don't think he has.
I don't think he has participated. And I get nervous. I get nervous about first-time participants. But I do think he's a solid pick, but it's hard. I mean, you got some great talent there. I think Jose Ramirez is going to come back with a vengeance.
He's a doubles guy, though.
He's got 23 homers. He's 30.
I know.
In the majors.
I know. I just, whenever I think of Jose Ramirez, I think slashing them down the line.
That guy, I mean, he got eliminated. He was in there in 2022, and he got eliminated first round by the eventual winner, Juan Soto, in LA. But, I mean, he's going to get another shot. I mean, we still got to see who the last one is. There's still one spot available.
There's true.
So if Aaron Judge enters the chat,
I don't think he is. I don't think he is. All right, moving on from home run derby discussion to now the All-Star game. Not quite who will be participating in the All-Star game, but we're going to discuss who should be participating in the All-Star game. And I'll go ahead and leave this off here. I think a huge snub coming out of the NL, Christian Walker, man. How did he not make it? I do not know. Pete Alonso got the backup All-Star position over him.
Oof.
Yeah. And not a huge fan of that because Christian Walker has had a really good year. He's leading all first basemen in the NL with home runs, 22. He's leading the NL in first basemen in RBIs and total bases. He's second in slugging, only behind Bryce Harper. And it's a shame that Christian Walker doesn't get to represent the NL and the Diamondbacks in this year's All-Star game.
Yeah, that's a good pick. It's
Yeah.
a good pick. I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to the American League. And I think he's a multiple-time All-Star, Hall of Fame trajectory. Tell me why Craig Kimbrell isn't on the All-Star game roster. 23 saves and a 2.10 ERA.
Wow.
2.10 ERA, 23 saves. He's got 54 strikeouts in 38 innings.
That's dang near prime Kimbrell right there.
Yeah.
And he's not
overlooked. Class A, of course, you got to put some relievers in there. Well, I'm going to take a look at the relievers.
No, I'll tell you one of them. Clay Holmes is one of them. And let me tell you.
Yeah.
I think Kimbrell should be in over him. Oh, we lost Dylan there. Let's see if he comes back here. We'll give it a second. But yeah, he had Kimbrell being in the here he is.
We go. Wow, got booted. Okay, going back to it. I think so. Yeah, the rest of them, you got Emmanuel Class A, you got Kirby Yates, and you got of course the Clay Holmes you mentioned, but Mason Miller's another one. The A's need an all-star.
That's very true.
I mean, every team gets an all-star.
Brent Rooker, he's having a really solid year.
I would have rather had Rooker make the team as a reserve and given the shot a freaking chance for Craig Kimbrell because that guy, he's on a Hall of Fame path. And I mean, he should. There's no shot he doesn't get in. But another all-star thing definitely doesn't hurt your case. I mean, in the American League, he's literally second in saves behind Class A.
Wow, he's not in. That's a snub to me. Wow. Okay. All right, so Craig Kimbrell and Christian Walker should be all-stars. So that is disappointing on their end. Not their fault. But moving on to our final topic of today. Very tight show. Just keep it light and fun here. All-star uniforms they released last week or 2 weeks ago. As you can see, I'm wearing the hat. I get the all-star hat every year. It's growing on me. This hat's growing on me. Not my favorite all-star hat. But Dylan, overall, what do you make of the all-star uniforms this year?
I could go either way. Like, they're not the worst ones I've seen. Worst ones I've seen were 2016 in San Diego. Them things were yuck.
Oh, you didn't like those?
No. You look like you're eating a freaking chocolate-covered banana fudgesicle. That looked terrible. Those jerseys.
Padres. I love the Padres brand.
There was also, I think last year's were pretty bad too. There were
Seattle. I like Seattle had really good colors. That teal and navy.
I wasn't a fan.
You didn't like that? Okay.
But I think so. I mean, you're obviously playing with the team's colors when you're doing this all-star thing. But don't want to get into this take yet. But I think there should be different jerseys that players wear during games.
Boom. You hit it there on the head. Yes. What are we doing? This is all a gimmick. This is a money gimmick. What are we doing, MLB? We know you're doing this to sell jerseys. And I'm not a fan of it. And Dylan got booted again. I'm not a fan of it. I want the players to wear their team's uniforms. It's so much better. It looks so much better. Think about okay, there he's back. I was just saying, I want all the teams to wear all the players to wear their team's uniforms. It looks so much better. Keep the hats, keep the city design, whatever city you're playing in, keep that all-star hat. I love that addition. But the jerseys, why mess up with goodness? Why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And MLB tends to try and fix things that are usually never broken in the first place. I don't understand.
They're trying to be innovative as an Adam Silver-esque league, where you can go ahead and make these bold choices and try to improve your product, but your product doesn't need to be improved, but they keep trying to do it.
Yeah, so like I mentioned before,
McDonald's don't change their Big Mac sauce.
Like I said, it's just a money play here, right? Let's give an opportunity. Okay, if we put these on the players during the game, we can sell more of these. I guess the idea is you can sell more of these in stadium, or online. But my thing is the price points are insane. It's like $190 for an all-star jersey. And I think another point is in trying to decide if an all-star uniform is solid or not. When you see a uniform, does it go off in your brain? Does your brain go, "Oh my gosh, that jersey's dope. I want to buy that." That's how you know a jersey is good. I haven't had that feeling with the all-star jersey since, I don't know, when the game was in DC.
Those were nice.
Yeah, those were nice. Or Miami, and I haven't had that feeling like, wow, I want to buy that.
You know what jerseys I liked?
What?
My favorite all-star game, I think it was 07 when the Mets hosted it.
That was not 07.
Was it 08?
That was not 08. 08 was Yankee Stadium. I think that was like 2011, 12.
No. Brian Roberts was in the game. There's no way it was 11 or 12. It was the Mets all-star. I think it was 07.
Yeah, there's no way. 2013, they held it at Citi Field. So I was
no. Yeah. That's not it.
That's not it.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. I remember Brian Roberts. I remember David Wright playing. David Wright wasn't an all-star in 13. I don't remember what game it was. I'm going to find it, and I'll tell you next show what it was, because that's going to drive me insane. I know I like those jerseys.
The Giants, San Francisco Giants. Is that who you're thinking of? They held it in 2007.
It wasn't there.
Yeah, you're smoking crack.
I'm not smoking anything.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. That's all we have for our show today. Also, next time, Dylan will let you know what all-star game he is trying to talk about. That we already decided that it was in 2013. That was the Mets all-star game. If you will agree with me, go ahead and drop that in the comments. But we appreciate all the support. We're not sure if we're going to be back next week, but definitely the week after that. With the All-Star break, we're probably going to give ourselves a break too. But we appreciate all the support. Go check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe and like on YouTube. We appreciate all the support. We'll catch you next time.